listening to the Blue Chip Dads podcast, and I'm your host, Daquan King, aka D. King. And this is actually going to be our first tip of the week. The goal is to bring you a tip of the week every week. And so the first tip is going to be to turn off the autopilot. If you're a dad like me, and I have 3 kids. My oldest is going to be 4 in a couple weeks, and my youngest is 4 months, and the other one is somewhere in between, around 2. Then you know how easy it is to just go through the motions, because it requires so much time and attention. And anything that you begin to do so often over and over again, it almost becomes second nature. And sometimes spending time with your children can be a second nature type of activity in terms of going on autopilot. And what I mean by autopilot is, if you get in your car in the morning and you drive to work, and you get to work, you don't even know how you got there, guess what? Autopilot took over. And it happens so often when you get home as well. For me, it's get home, get the kids ready for dinner, cook the dinner if I haven't already cooked, prepare the dinner, get them in the seats, wash their hands, feed them. It's like an hour-long event, because one doesn't want to feed himself, and he's 2. The other one have to make him eat. And we go through the whole process of eating, which could, oh my God, it could be long. And then after we finish eating, then wash hands, and then either we're watching TV or we're reading a book or whatever it is. But now I'm more focused on, we have to make sure we read a book. But before, it was just, I would finish eating, go sit down, watch TV. I pick up my phone, I'm on my phone, and they're playing around, and then I'm basically just instructing them to not kill each other while I'm trying to work on something else. I had to realize, my kids only really get a good 3 to 4 hours a day with me, an hour in the morning and about 3 hours after I pick them up from work. And then after that, they're going to bed around 8:30. And so it's not a lot of time. And so I had to, put my phone aside. I had to really turn off autopilot. And that's my tip for you today. It's just to turn off autopilot. Putting the phone down when you eat dinner, eat it together. Don't just feed them and go and do your own thing, but like really sit down with them, feed them, take walks with them after dinner. And I'm just talking about on the weekday, because weekdays is really when we turn on the autopilot. We're just working for Friday. So after dinner, maybe go and take a walk with them, help them burn off some of that energy. I like to go outside and just throw the football. My 4-year-old cannot catch at all. He's not there. But he will run and get that ball, and he'll bring it back to me. So I'm basically playing fetch with my 4-year-old, and my 2-year-old is just basically running around in circles. He's just literally running around in circles. Third, read to them. Man, oh my God. One of the things I love to do is read to my son, and then have him tell me the story after I read it to him. It is the funniest thing. I might have him come on one day and do that with you guys. But him telling the stories after I've read to him is just, it's amazing how he's able to comprehend though. And then, regurgitate back what he heard. And so, read to them, find fun ways of reading to them. Don't just go in and just read a book, but make it come alive. Make that book really come alive. You may not be good with character voices. I am not at all. Nowhere near. Like, all of my voices sound the same, whether it's the wolf blowing down the house, or the 3 little pigs, or the Goldilocks and 3 bears. All of my voices sound the same. I'm just not good at that, but it doesn't matter, because I make sound effects, and so they love it. And then most importantly, if you could do one-on-one time, if you have more than one child, pull them aside. So that what I'm saying is, like, my 4-year-old, I try and give him that space where I'm locked in with him. And my 2-year-old, I'm locked in with my 2-year-old. And my baby, she's gonna get that regardless. But be intentional about it is basically what I'm saying. You can easily spend time with your kids and not be intentional, and that's where autopilot kicks in. And that's when you get to the end of the day and you're like, well, we just get ready for tomorrow. But what happened? How did you progress them? My son's 4-year-old birthday is coming up in 2 weeks, and he's really looking forward to that. So we're trying to find ways to make that fun for him. But basically, making the most out of each day with your child, because that's really all you have. Time is that one commodity, that one thing that you cannot get back. Money you can, health you can, but time you cannot. And the time you spend with your kids, especially in these early years, are everything. I'm looking for the best word. I'm just going to use that word. They are everything. So those are my tips, man, of the day is, turn off autopilot, put your phone down, eat dinner together, spend talk with them when you're eating dinner. Don't just eat. Ask them questions. How was your day? What did you do today? What did you eat today? Did you have fun today? What are you looking forward to tomorrow? Who did you play with today? Like, just get into their world. Take walks together. That was tip number 3. And that's a good way to have to burn off that energy, because kids can have a lot of energy. And not right now, I'm talking to dads with younger kids, but even if you have older kids, say they're 14, 15, or whatever, or 10 or 13, these things still work with them. I mean, maybe not reading Goldilocks and the Three Bears and making it fun. Maybe you have to find something different to do with them if they're at 12 years old. But the goal is to get into their world, find out what they're interested in, and give them that. You'll have time for yourself. Somehow you'll find a way to make time for yourself. But for these kids, you have to make that happen. So that was tip number 3, is to take walks. Tip number 4 was to read to them, make it fun, make it come alive. And tip number 5, just recapping, is most importantly, spend that one-on-one time with them. Listen, we are what we do repeatedly. And so if you're constantly doing something over and over and over again, it does become an autopilot. And so you want to get out of autopilot with your kids, and you want to just give them that time where they know they matter. You've given it to everything else in the day. You've given it to work. You can be zeroed in, locked in at work. You got to come home and be zeroed in and locked in with these kids. You made them. They didn't make themselves. So give them what they deserve. I hope y'all like the tips. We will come back with you every week. The first episode of the podcast I'll be recording soon. It'll be episode number 1. My first guest is Will. I don't know if I'm going to drop this podcast tip of the week before I drop the actual podcast, but we're going to do podcast tips, which will be about 7 to 10 minutes long. And then we'll also do actual real podcasts where I'm interviewing different people. So I'm hoping that you guys dig it, love it. Drop a comment, a like, hit me with some stars. Just let us know how we're doing. The website will be coming soon. That's bluechipdads.com. That's www.bluechipdads.com. Facebook, Instagram, all of that. Wherever you want to find us, just type in Blue Chip Dads. BLUECHIPDADS. You can spell. Thank y'all for rocking with your boy. It's your boy, Daquan King, aka D.King, retired hip hop artist, now podcast dude. I don't know. We'll find the closer for you guys real soon. Thank you for rocking with me.